Yeah, so there's a lot of weird sayings in the world today, isn't there? Like, scared the shit out of me. Scared the shit out of me. How can something scare the shit out of you? It scares you so much, you shit yourself. Ah, then there's, scared me half to death. Well, if two people scare you half to death, you die then, don't you? Logically. And then there's, jump down my skin. How can you jump out of your skin? That's ridiculous. No, the skin still came with me. You can't jump out of your skin. That's, what do you think this is, a cartoon? Oh, jump out of my skin? No. Of course, the brilliant one, the one I love to hear people say, is this one. I well beat up these two guys in the pub last night. Yeah, you probably all heard them stories, yeah. Yeah, they said something to me, I called them outside, I decked the both of them, yeah. Yeah, fucking smash his teeth in, yeah. Yeah, you know, one of them guys giving it all the big, you know. If the truth been known, they probably just called him outside, they said alright then. The two of them went outside, but he was too wussy to follow them out. There's a difference between talking about fighting and actually fighting. And I actually know because I've done both. I've never been one of these people that goes, oh, well, beat up these two guys in the pub. I've never been like that, you know. But, on occasion I have actually got into fights. And you wouldn't think so, would you? Looking at me. This was years ago. This was actually, I think the last time was about 4 years ago. And that was before we started to get all this 3-on-1, 5-on-1, 6-on-1 type fighting. And then they knock you down to the floor, and proceed to punch and kick you until you either die or nearly die. Back when I used to fight, when I actually decided yes, I actually was going to fight, because I wasn't normally a fighter. I was I wasn't a coward. I always used to think violence was the last resort. If you can't talk your problems out, or talk your way out of dangerous situations, and you're forced to fight your way out, then you fight. If you see no other alternative than just running. And of course, if you just run away, they just chase you, and that's even worse. And yeah, so yeah, so back when I used to fight, it used to be 1-on-1. One of you would, well, you'd fight until one of you was on the floor and give up, you know, and you'd say something like, "Don't you ever fucking come near me again," or whatever, and then you just walk off. You don't run off. You either just walk off or you back away slowly in case they get up again. But normally they won't get up again until you've gone, because they're too scared of you. Especially if they're bigger than you and you've managed to get them on the floor. That's it. They're scared of you now for life. Until 4 or 5 years later, when they come at you with 5 or 6 other people and kick the shit out of you. Oh, that was another saying. Kick the crap out of you. Oh, kick the crap out of him. Smash your head in. No, that was actually true. Yeah. So yeah, and I've got in fights where I've won. I've got in fights where I've lost. The biggest odds I've ever got into on a fight and actually still won was 2-on-1, and that was back in 2003. So that was some time ago. No, it was before that. It was 2003. I beat at First House Training Centre. I'd say 2001. Maybe even before that, I don't know. I was at school anyway. And, you know, so obviously your kids, two kids started to start on me, and I, let's just say one of them went home with a mouthful of blood that day, and the other one's groin will probably never be the same again. Because, you know, back when I was at school, I knew that you kick them in the balls, it really hurts, because I'd actually been kicked in the balls once or twice myself. So I knew that being kicked in the balls really hurts, and it normally really incapacitates you. So, you know, shot in the nuts was a quick solution in any sort of fight. And so, yeah. So one went home with a mouthful of blood, and one went home with a very achy ball bag. Nothing was done about it. I never got suspended or anything over it because nobody knew. But I waited until the fucker was outside school, didn't I? Yeah, I got my which way home. I knew which way he went home every fucking day with his mate, and I followed them. Well, I say I followed them, I made sure I got there first, and I took my bike a little distance away from where they were going to be, and just waited. And as they emerged around the corner, I jumped on the fuckers from a tree. They had no idea I was there. Anyway, but yeah, but now fighting nowadays, it's 3 or 4 to 1, 5 or 6 on to 1 or whatever, or it's a large gang against a large gang. Because if 5 or 6 people beat one person up, he then goes off and gets all his mates, and they get him a bit further down the road or whatever, or a couple of days later. And actually, people nowadays, they just want to start a fight over everything, don't they? I mean, you can be walking down the street and someone will go, "Oi!" And you'll look down like this. Because someone says "Oi" at you, you're going to look, and they go, "Fuck are you looking at?" You go, "You just said oi." "You're being clever?" "No! I'm just saying it. You said oi, I looked round." "Stop being clever with it, I'll fucking hit you, mate." And then you go, "Come on then." And you take 3 steps towards them. You fucker, do they make the biggest excuse to leave they've ever heard. You've ever heard, sorry. It's like, "No, I've got to be somewhere." And if you just ignored them or whatever, or just carried on being clever, and then eventually walked off, they'd come up behind you and deck you. Deck you, that's another one. Yeah. Hit with a record player. Which is actually where my mobile phone is currently standing, on top of the record player. Yeah. Good link. Anyway, so yeah, so people would start fights over nothing nowadays. I mean, back when I was younger, you'd have fights over whether this guy beat up your mate or previously done something to you, or whether this guy was cheating on your sister or said something bad to your sister. You'd smack them one and say, "You leave my sister alone," or "I'll smack you again." You know, that sort of thing. We never used to just walk down the street or hang around on street corners waiting for people to walk past and go "Oi!" at them. I mean, the only time I ever said "Oi" to someone was to my mate, who was about a certain distance away. You go, "Oi, Pete!" or whatever the name is. Pete? They've had a mate at school called Pete. And what, you know, that's the only time I ever said "Oi" to someone. Or when someone says something that could be considered, you know, like a friend says something about you not having a brain, so you go "Oi!" Yeah, "Oi!" You don't just "Oi" at people in the street and then start a fight. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, and I mean, I never used to solve my problems with violence. I used to either talk the problems over or get the police involved, or if it was school, I never got the school involved. Fucking hell, that's just ridiculous. I mean, the school's take on bullying and stuff was just rubbish, wasn't it? It still is now. It's like, "Oh, you're being bullied, oh well." Or they'll have a talk to with the bully, and that just makes them worse. It's just, what's the point? You just get the fuck outside school, don't you? Even though technically you're still school's responsibility until you get home. Are you fucked? The minute you leave them school gates, you're your own responsibility. Especially if you're walking home or riding home on your own, you're your own responsibility, and that's it. You take responsibility for yourself. Then if you deck someone, you deck someone. And that's the other thing about school kids nowadays. Kids under 16 all know that if they do anything to you in the street, you can't hit them back because it's against the law. And that's why they do it. And what you do then is you just wait until they turn 16 and you smack the bastards. I mean, somewhere down in London there was that 16-year-old that got stabbed recently. Makes you wonder what he did. But actually makes you wonder if he actually did anything to get stabbed. I mean, he might have just been stabbed for no reason. But yeah. I'm going to stop this video.